Problem is, who wants it?
Who wants it the most? I think I know the answer to that question right about now. Error, after that previous series, surely are going to be high-spirited as they charge forwards here to Game 1 of the lower bracket final, and to really pave themselves as the new team to beat in the SAM region, making their way to a grand final. Just imagine the spectacle that could be.
Would be a spectacle, and thankfully mine is still attached to my eyes and nose and even the ears. Thankfully all the senses are here. Era will certainly need to bring their A game here against Secret as that ball launched up, and Sad will certainly launch himself onto this play.
And an extra 50-50 for good measure as well, courtesy of that ball in the corner, and Team Secret trying to approach a bit of relaxation, a bit of tranquility of mind at the moment as they slow the play down on their charge forwards here.
Nice little skip up here, Knight. He has options. What exactly would he like to do? Fortunately, I have an idea that that play was not what he had mentioned in that one.
That one right there, I think, is a shot even Ian Pinheiro himself on the backlines would be proud of. We saw a cheeky little remark on Twitter regarding a beautiful finish of his earlier, and I think that might match it.
Potentially. Might be a few. There was at least a few contenders on that one. Top right, top left, doesn't matter. It's still a goal and a corner he's happily willing to slot on home. Unfortunately, Ian might be finding a few problems on which way to turn there.
Maybe so, but certainly no troubles met by Knight, who needed to get in the way of that infield ball and did so with relative ease as Sad downfield does catch a flip reset. The follow through forward, sharp and deadly from Knight, as he certainly sheds some darkness on the side of Era here.
There's a nice idea here, but Pan and Unbroken should have just communicated. Sounds simple, but a small heads up on what way to go would have been ample here. Era, for the first time in some time, has found a problem, and they have not got a way to unconstrict themselves from it.
Certainly haven't, and if that ball did seep its way through, there was a player ready and waiting in that forward corner for Team Secret to maybe get an extra chance on the board. But Era now with it all to play for and 3 minutes left. We've seen how a lot of the games that they've taken have been off the back of some early possession, some early chances, as Ian Pinheiro almost puts a first on the board.
And Unbroken, he turved and weaved and showed the back end of his car here. Would have been a nasty angle, trying to read which way it was actually going to be shot here by Team Secret, but they have, of course, read it. Era down the other end. Ian, that's a shot upfield, of course, flipped to the backboard, and Pan looking to do something a little bit more, something to jeer them. But unfortunately, whatever they do has been matched.
Matched and even outclassed at the moment from Team Secret, who still just prove themselves to be such a horrible presence to play against, because they simply do not put a foot wrong. You need to come up with a flash of brilliance to get past this side, as Sad in the corner trying to launch an attack of his own is fortunately going to have the ball spew back to a player in blue, as KV1 has a lot of time to think about this one.
He's just going to leave it. That's fabulous. That's just absolute filth with communication.
And KV1 has just said, you know what? You're the best lad to have a shot at this one, and Sad fills the gap so swiftly, so confidently, and can you expect anything else?
What, the mad lad whose name's Sad? Are we adding on the rhyme that Relic put on forth? Unfortunately, we're not as poetic as he is, but he will be later on this evening. But a crossbar denial. Era, they have not lost the spirit. They're still punching above their weight at the moment.
Certainly so, but Sad's going to delicately throw this ball through the skies. And maybe this one from Knight could just creep through, as Era just left thinking what went wrong here.
A lot.
A lot.
Shall I break it down, or do you want to, Psycho, or shall we move on here for Era's own sake?
I think we can only do them the credit of moving on, because that's going to need to be exactly what they do here, and quickly, hopefully so, because 4 goals conceding by that much of a deficit in game 1 is not a way to really intimidate your opposition in game 1, but this shot from Ian has maybe done a little bit of that.
I think the intimidation factor has went up by a solid 1. Don't ask what the scale is, it's best not to know.
Solid 1, and the 1 is the goal on the board for Era. Maybe they can make it 2 as Ian Pinheiro keeps on going and keeps on going, but sadly there was a player in the way from Team Secret there, as now just 1 minute left of play left to come, as KV1 lurking for a beautiful little redirect down, blocked away here from Era, and they're going to need to reflect on what's happened in game 1, and then they're going to need to come up with something quickly here. That's a 5th from KV1, and that's filthy work from him.
KV1 just showing how simple the game can be played. And your eyes might be deceiving you, but yes, it is a lower bracket final. The Sam Open showing exactly what has sprung its way into life. And unfortunately, Era might have that problem here. And I would say a timeout would be potentially too early here, but it wouldn't surprise me if they would like a few extra seconds just to compose themselves.
Maybe so, and I think that'd be one of the first post-game 1 timeouts I've ever seen. But honestly, it wouldn't be a bad call at the moment, because Era just have not been able to find a foothold. Their shoes just slipping every single thing that they try to grasp onto. But Knight with a minor overextension, I'm not sure it's going to be too much of a trouble long term.
No, with the next few seconds here, we are just going to see what would be the petering out of the game here. I think both sides are content just to let the clock run down. You will see here maybe trying to chip away at the third, maybe fourth goal, and it just could be one of those moments there, the cheeky smile and grin, and Ian will just go, clip that.
He will be saying that, but I think Pan's going to be taking the majority of the credit there after that fabulous follow-through there off the ceiling, catching 2 Team Secret players off guard there, and maybe there is a bit of hope of which we have not latched onto, but the players in orange still have alive and burning in their veins at the moment. But 10 seconds left, this game surely is done and dusted, and Era, they're just begging they had an extra couple minutes left on the clock.
Well, a couple of minutes extra on the clock, we may as well be a new game cycle, but unfortunately, a locket of hope. Will it be trapped for an eternity, or will it see daylight? Well, that will be the rest of maybe 6 games, but certainly Secret took the opening one in a very convincing fashion.
Very, very convincing, and it's difficult to pinpoint exactly what has changed for Era in terms of performance from that previous series we saw from them, where seemingly there was no openings that they had to offer in terms of how strong their defense was looking. It was just all working for them, and moving forwards to game 1, they were conceding goals early. They were conceding opportunities that potentially would just let go a little bit. And Team Secret, it didn't seem as they had to work from that, and that's the most concerning point for me, Danny.
Well, while they didn't have to work for most of their goals here, what will be at least some glimmer of hope here, Psycho, to an extent, about 1 minute 30 left on the clock here. It was a 2-1, 3-1 type of game, maybe even boldly saying 3-2. So, look, Era, we've seen what they were capable of doing against Ninja Pajamas. They were a strong side. Secret, however, still are. It's just a case of whether they adapt into it. We've seen too many good sides here having that sort of question mark around them. At one point, Crew had the biggest question, but they are sitting quite comfortable at the moment.
Sitting comfortable and maybe reflecting on this particular game. I'll be wondering who might actually emerge victorious, because Era have come from strength to strength and now presented with one of the first big challenges that they would have had to face. Of course, the other one being Team Secret as well. Again, a team that knocks them down to the lower bracket in the first place. The 4-2 result was what was on the cards for Era then, and for their sake, they're hoping it's different now.
Hopefully. But we'll be Ian, at least to maybe start the charge, at least downfield here. It will be rotating out here. It will be a steal of a boost, a quick demo here and there. And unfortunately, the play hasn't exactly unfolded to Era's standard. And it will be Team Secret who will just fancy themselves here to build onto something much more.
Definitely so, and a nice demo upfield from Era just to alleviate some space in the midfield to encroach forwards as Unbroken ready and waiting on the backboard for a quick interception, but downfield the counter sharp from Team Secret. A second touch made, dropped down, but sadly away from the goal line.
Oh, I don't know if that was a great idea or just a misstep here by Secret, but it's worked out nonetheless here. KV1 reading the play at least enough just to get a touch on to it. Minute gone by. This is what Era should have started with in game one. Much more concise, much more condensed here, but can they maybe convert here? 3 big questions, but unfortunately not a single opportunity fired in that moment.
Definitely not, and Team Secret at the moment seemingly giving Era no room to breathe, at least on the defensive front. They're throwing these challenges so early into the play that Era simply haven't been afforded an opportunity so far. As Sad on the counter-attack is going to need to weave past one player because there is no options in field as Unbroken catches a second delicate touch there, and I'm not sure his opposition there was expecting that.
No, they certainly won't, but they will be expecting the flying Pan himself. Puts one in home, and you know what? Era, they've got one. That's all what they need to start from.
And a very smiley Ian Pinheiro as well, who managed to catch that last defender with that glancing blow of a bump at the back lines to make it 1. The flying Pan up again. Is it 2? It's saved away from Sad, narrowly avoiding catastrophes for Secret.
Sad straight down, he pops it, he looks for maybe just a bit of slip up in terms of placement. That didn't occur there, and it's KV1's turn to maybe rattle and bump here. It will be a sacrifice down the line that would even make Gotham Chess weep in its dreams. That was fabulous.
Certainly was, and that infield ball equally fabulous. Pan, a second touch, a third one for good measure. He's showing off at this point. It's only 1-0, but the confidence at an all-time high at the moment for Era as they press forwards with no boost in the tank, but the support has just been recruited and found in the corner.
There, pops it, that's a pass. That was Unbroken's turn, but Knight just seen a shade, a glimmer, as Sad up in the air. There is that golden boost that was twinkling from him there. Knight to run all the way back, and it's spilt middle. It's a horrible ball for both sides. Era still with the ascendancy though.
A very useful strong clear forwards from Sad, just trying to really break apart this defence, spread them thin on this Era side as they look for a future attack. Knight through the skies, a flip reset found and an extra touch to follow forwards, but it's not going to be good enough to get past the defence this time around as it's comfortably dealt with, and Pan aggressively working forwards to the backboard. Maybe a shooting chance for Ian, who's done it once again. His shooting accuracy flawless so far, and the trend continues.
May it continue. May shall see Secret falter. What looked like an unimpeachable record in game one did not follow the pattern in the second here, but Sad is on at least a turn here, back around and sent down here. Era is waiting, and it will be Ian. You want his shooting record, he didn't get the opportunity, bumped it goes, and that goes the defender. There is no secrets hidden on this stream.
And he's just gone whizzing on by as sadly no connection found, and Pan with a wide open path to potential victory here in game 2. And it's so impressive to me how quickly this Era side has found a response. Team Secret have just simply not had a single opportunity of note, it seems.
I think that just shows you what Era does have the offer, and we were even questioning the fact were they capable of reproducing any of that capabilities, and yet we shouldn't be surprised either, Cycle. We've seen what Crew and Secret were doing the last time around in a tiebreaker scenario in the grand final, etc., etc. Top two sides, and Era looking to join them here.
Definitely so, and what a statement this would be if they can continue this sort of form through the rest of this series. As much as that previous result was certainly one to remember, this one is even more impressive, surely. This one is going to roll home for Team Secret, but it's a consolation at this point, and maybe some extra time to think.
Well, certainly will need a bit of time to recuperate after what was Era's at least turned into that previous result that you did mention. Was that maybe foreshadowing what could occur, or a different limelight being put onto it? These, however, are the difference in the business end of the tournament. Things go out the window. Your gut instinct is usually your best friend. More importantly, Era tied up the series here.
Tied up the series, and honestly, it's so impressive from them. But Team Secret, just glancing back at that winter split, even when the going did get tough, they did not fall beneath top 3 across all 3 of the winter regional events. First, third, and second, that was their performances throughout. And moving forwards here, if they were to drop, that would be, well, their worst result in recent times.
Well, it would be a massive surprise if it was to drop here, but let's not kid ourselves here. Era's playing too well to write off in any shape or capacity. Secret should be in the grand final, but aren't. So it's just a case of who will grab those. I think it would also be fair to state as well, this is Era's best placement, the best wild that these players have done in some time. Will the nerves factor into play? We'll find out.
We certainly will, and, well, we are underway once again. Can that form be recreated? Era's hearts and minds at the moment. Surely the answer is yes, because so far tonight they have not lacked confidence in approach. They have not seemed at any point nervous, and so far nothing has been left behind as Team Secret look to lunge forwards early on, and still nothing gives.
Nothing, but it will at least be KB1 trying to force the idea of giving something, and unfortunately that will not give or budge an inch there. Blocked it goes. Already a minute gone by, it just shows you what Secret just wants to put back on.
Certainly does, and Sad surely has got a follow-up touch here, but nobody infield ready and waiting as Knight is smart to the play. He understands the danger of potentially making a vital mistake early on, but oh my goodness! That is something special as Unbroken has cherry-picked a teammate in Ian downfield, drops it to that third man in Pan, and that is 1-0.
He rolls it straight down with perfection. Anywhere else, the keeper, defender will jump on it. Era, who look likely to concede, once again defends. They will now eventually do so. But by Secret standards, the Era goal stands out so much more, but this will hurt as a response nonetheless.
Well, it surely doesn't matter how the goals come as long as, well, they do in your favour, and Team Secret are going to be all smiles right now because what was previously a masterclass from Era, which they just had to look at and respect, has already been transformed into an equal game at large as Knight is going to reset this play just as the scorelines has in the corner, and Sad all alone, submerged and bumped away, but Team Secret working forwards on the counter. Knight, what does he have to offer? We've seen it time and time again, and it was almost a deadly opportunity as this ball is dropped down. Unbroken in his defence as well to see that one wide.
Another soft touch by Sad, and this has just started to maybe pick up at least the pace between the both sides here. They've read each other, they've known what they can throw at each other. It'll at least be Pan's opportunity to find something to pass, but nothing. We just saw a veil attempt there being eventually shut down here in Secret, mind you. They're just not caring what's thrown, and that's a wasteful 50 by both sides.
Definitely so there, but Knight has an opportunity to keep this attack going, but lost his individual war there as Pan, with a very favourable 50, has managed to encroach past the halfway point here. But KV1 up early, dangerous through the skies, and the follow-up true from Sad. No double touch found. Connections made though from Knight towards the bottom right, and an advantage the way of Team Secret.
That was fabulous in terms of how it was shot. Wasn't even given the opportunity, wasn't even looking at anywhere else. The side post just hit the corner beautifully, keeper not reaching it. And Era in a chance that they had earlier, looking so much like a crucial missed opportunity, as Pan up and around here. Will they gather themselves here for another advancement? They have to if they want to keep this little run going.
They certainly have. You can see the bumps look to sneak their way through there as ball over to the backboard. Could have been an infield shooting chance, but wasn't meant to be, as Team Secret maybe wasteful of a chance of their own there, but they are the team in control as these seconds tick down.
Nice. Lovely first touch there by Unbroken. They led the play, allowed what Secret was looking to do, and allowed themselves to develop their own here. Downfield it goes, and it shall be at least Era to do something with it. We want them to at least be capable of firing something on target, but Secret, they played the lane perfectly well and closed it down.
They certainly have, and well, now it's all up to Era to find maybe a piece of magic at the moment, and you can see that they're approaching the play delicately. They still know that any mistake could be the root of all evil in this particular game, as that ball is loose in the corner, and Pan up quickly to deal with a constant threat, but it's still on coming from Sad. That is absolutely wonderful from his own presence there. Gorgeous stuff.
Delivered with such precision. Didn't care after the touch, the at least drive it into the ground. The bounce, the trajectory, everything that was just what you wanted. And Era has left themselves here now with what can only be described as the loose end of this game here, to gather a chance and hope to keep the ball up just to have a simmer 3-3. But again, we've seen some crazy things already this evening.
We definitely have, but what's going to be eating away at Era surely is just how unstoppable some of these goals seem to have been for Team Secret in this particular game. Especially that last one is going to come as a firm reminder of the strength of their opposition at the moment. And in that last series, we saw how this Era side was so comfortable in absorbing pressure, but when there is a threat like what Team Secret has to offer, I'm not sure you can get away with just that.
Well, it might just be in that sort of horrible situation of not being able to, but that's just the scenario. That's where they are in Psycho. 2-1, Vantage Secret once again. And unfortunately, while that one does rattle its way in here, it does change nothing in its perplexion. But will we see Era reflection any further with a timeout here?
Yeah, I think surely that is the best port of call really for this Era squad, because what we saw from them in this particular game was almost akin to what we saw in Game 1 as well. Just all domination for Team Secret really, and a bit of individual magic as well, of which we've not seen so far, courtesy of Sad with that lovely flip reset double touch off the backboard. And I think this series is going to be very much, the storyline's going to be shaped by what Era has to respond, because Secret, they never leave anything behind. Their consistency is what makes them so special, and when they are firing on all cylinders, well, Era, they're left with a lot of work to do.
Certainly so, and they will be gathering themselves around whatever they have left to give here. They have frankly decided to make the smart decision of that timeout. They've activated the call. The problem is, how do you approach the situation here? Because you described that Secret aren't going to leave even the scraps of the table. It's going to be starvation throughout, but Era's got to march and salvate onwards here.
Yeah, definitely so. And I think another scary factor as well is we've not seen Team Secret sort of trump card, if you like, which really helped them through in the Crew series, of which they ultimately went on to lose. But those bumps and those demos, that downfield aggression from someone lurking upfield, that disruptive factor from Team Secret, we've not seen needed to be activated either. It's simply been just the case of working around each other well enough in terms of the follow-up chances. And they still have something more to give, I feel.
Well, let's hope so. It'd be a shame to see Era just flatline after such a display against there in this competition. Of course, they will be back surely for, of course, the Cup, maybe even the Invitational itself. But, of course, we're thinking too far ahead. The players have to take one game at a time, and that game is game number 4 itself.
And the most pivotal game, surely, for this Era side. This could really tell their future as far as this individual competition is concerned, as Unbroken looks to set himself off in the right foot with an early attack, and the ball reaching over to the Team Secret backboard, teasing the possible chance of a shooting opportunity, but what just wasn't meant to be.
A nice solid block here down lane. Unfortunately, nobody's really going with any conviction here. Pant, nice block here, but will go tonight. And it's a scattering here, 50 after 50 after 50. It just keeps on continuing in a non-stop machinery-like motion here. Secret just showing what they can deliver. Crucial, pivotal moment once again.
A nice bit of infield work, but no connection found as a result of some heads-up thinking there from Errors. Now surely there's going to be a scramble for this ball, but Team Secret have just left that one away, maybe just handing over possession there.
Cringe. Handing possession over in a moment like that? Psycho, come on, what are they doing?
Well, that's exactly the question that was on my mind, but I'm sure they know something that I don't, as keeping this pressure long term, I'm sure, is the name of the game, and that little moment of just running away when the play was beginning to heat up downfield is proving that they're not needing to give 110% on these efforts to create chances. And at the moment, Ian Pinheiro trying to do that for his team with very limited boost, has very limited options as a result.
Nice play by Knight. You don't have to go all in every play. And that's a save, but mind you, it was on a postcard. You can see it a mile away here, just like Sad as well. Views it as, but unfortunately Sad's temperament on the ball has to be credited to him.
Definitely so, but Knight, I was wondering if he was going to catch that flip reset, but he opted for the additional poke forwards, maybe thinking that was the unexpected approach, as, well, maybe the hearts and the minds of the Era defense was thinking differently there, but nonetheless, it's all but an irrelevancy, as now we are neutral once again in the midfield. These battles still emerging, courtesy of these individual efforts. Ian Pinheiro trying for one of his own, but there's plenty of support there for Secret.
So, moments of the second game where Era really did step it up, and at the end of game 1-2, where the passing play really developed, but unfortunately the night has turned blue. A blue moon has certainly appeared, and it's Knight who shuts it down.
Certainly has there, and maybe there was a way out there for Era, but they just could not find it there, as Pan, with a heavy touch forwards, maybe gave that opening chance away for Secret, because Ian could do nothing about it. And look at this. It's also really encroached on their future as well. Ian Pinheiro forced into such a difficult challenge, and even though the 50 was strong, there was not beating that attack.
50 was not good enough. It had to be an outright win. Last player, tight angle, of course, but when it spills in the front of the net here, it's just begging to be scored. Secret wasn't even a half a chance. It was just theirs. That is just a simple difference so far here. 2 minutes to remain. They feign one goal, and unfortunately, they cannot even feign their opposition to be the opportunities alone.
Well, being left alone is something that Era is certainly going to be wishing for at the moment, as they're still being hounded at the back lines. It seems as if we've barely pushed past this orange back third so far this game. That's how deadly this Team Secret side has been without needing to throw all their eggs in one basket like you mentioned, but afforded a chance. Era have been here, but still blocked away from Secret.
Nice little idea developing. Could it just maybe be a bit too superficial, really, in terms of development? Seems so as Era has just developed themselves into just a side that's willing to absorb pressure, but not necessarily anything more, and that just unfortunately exasperates the problem even further.
Definitely does, and that's a nice demo. It's certainly not for the right side here if you are an Era supporter. Infield ball towards Sad, blocked away. A crucial touch there from Team Secret, as now on the counter-attack they're potentially looking for a third, and you can see they're beginning to really add that level of aggression. They're waiting downfield, they're trying to cherry-pick these chances, but beaten time and time again.
That's the first bump we've actually seen that's head off for Era's second touch would be ideal. Can't get through the gap that was being exposed, and there is Secret, and Sad's just taking it away. Oh, you could just hear the call. Some managers just run it into the corner. Some would say take the shot, and he just decides to skip and hop over the ball.
Yeah, it was gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous from Sad, who's just in the driver's seat right now, and Era just really in the back seats at the moment, just hoping that they could craft a future of their own. Maybe this is a last-second chance for Era. And if it was 5 seconds left with 1 goal on the board, anything could have been possible. But, well, maybe I'm just thinking a bit too optimistically.
I think so. I think you may also be, at this point in time, maybe even just looking at this series itself as just one of those moments where has Era just met its match here? There shouldn't be any further in terms of what could be expected to do from them. They played well, they've got here, but they do not have that next step up, and it's just starting to show here.
Oh, I think that's a little bit of a fiery take, if I'm honest with you, because I think you're missing one particular feature of this Era side, and that was Game 2. Reflecting back on that, it was just miraculous from them, seemingly. They changed the nature of their own game so swiftly from what we saw in Game 1, but this is, you know, a best of 7 at the end of the day. You need to be proving that consistency across the board. Era, they've showed us it wants this series. Maybe they can do it again?
Fact that we're looking at the word maybe, Psycho. Maybe they can. Yes, the second game in the set was wonderful, but Era, and this is a word that you describe, and they are lacking it. Consistency over 7 games. They might like to start tier to prove maybe that might be a hot take, a fiery take, but you know what? I think it might just be the time to wipe the eyebrows down, take the controller, and get on with the driving seat. It's Era's turn to go further.
Definitely so, and Sad is going to have the first meaningful opportunity of the game, surely courtesy of that flip reset, but crucially, Unbroken was in between him and the back of the net there, as maybe an extra touch can find a player in field. Ian Pinheiro is just going to hoof this one forwards. It's all he can do to try and create some space downfield.
There, they see him straight down, trying to chisel his way through infield, but it's just been cut out.
Dangerous. Very, very dangerous there from Era, as that could have been an easy path for a counter-attack from Team Secret and a wide open net, courtesy of just how desperate they were to encroach forwards there, but wasn't meant to be.
Not yet. Again, if there is going to be that opportunity, it will have to at least occur here. They're playing this game number 5. That's exactly what you want to do. Have a few chances, but keep the scoreboard clean nonetheless. That is such a pivotal. We cannot stress enough what they had to do. They're at least achieving 1 goal so far.
Well, fortunately, it's playing right into Era's strength, really, if you consider how they are as a roster at large. Consistency is the name of the game, and at the moment, that's going to be all that's on their minds, as is Night travelling through the skies, ominously lurking for a potential first on the board, but nonetheless, Ian Pinheiro calm, comfortable, rooted in his own back lines. Unbroken forwards now. No boost in the tank, but an infield ball to Ian. Double touch bound, but thrown away there from Knight viciously to the side.
There's Pan. He's being somewhat graceful to the ball. There was a sense of elegance there, but sad to say it to be a brute. Force his way through, and unfortunately, sometimes that's what you get when you try to force the issue. As Pan up and around here, cut out by Knight. There should be an Era player bouncing on that opportunity. Rattles away, at least that one. Half-time gone by. Era with at least one opportunity in this game. They have failed to capitalise off it.
And that could be a massive, massive moment given what we saw in the last game, as Era really had very, very few opportunities when Team Secret had that strong rotational presence in those attacking zones. Era looking desperately to break from it now, as at the back lines an awkward touch from Pan is going to plan right into Team Secret's heads. As, sad. I'm not sure what he was going for there, but he got the best of both worlds as the double touch comes through.
So, might be a story and a nightmare at the same time for both of these. There's an opportunity. He's ready for the grasp here, and that one just launched straight down. Ian sitting down deep here. It will be an opportunity, surely. Era will go for it. They've been beaten. There has to be two. And unfortunately, there is Pan at the back lines. KV1 not beaten, and that's just chipped up here. Pan with a very little boost by the grand scheme of things here. Backs away, allows the other two to play some devastating somewhat ball, but again, it ends where it began, with Pan.
With Pan it lies, but now back into the corner towards Ian Pinheiro. Downfield, that player you just referenced through the skies, but, well, they couldn't make the most of that attack even with two players committed there, and maybe a lot of open space here for Team Secret to work a bit of their magic as the ball rattles against the corner. Infield touch, high and awkward for Unbroken as he needs the undying support of his teammates. Following up closely in hot pursuit behind, as Era still can't get a foothold in the blue half, Danny.
Apparently so, and you just sense here that this will be a one-goal game. We are in the silver territory, but golden goal where we might be heading. 30 seconds has been ringing in our ears there, but as KV1 just rotates away. Sad opportunity. No, taken away. There was the pass opportunity. Just rattles away here. Save off the line here. Era with 10 odd seconds to make something to happen.
And maybe one final shooting chance could be born from Pan, but he shied away, and maybe the right call in that particular instance, as one overstep could have been one big counter-attack the other end. Maybe Team Secret for an extra chance. They're still breathing! They're still alive as Knight has worked this one from thin air. That is an absolutely sensational play.
Era's time no more. Night does the job. Daytime is where the fun happens until the big man shows up himself. Psycho, we do have a rematch. We do have two Titans waiting. But unfortunately, the kid that was looking to burst onto the scene isn't laughing anymore.
They are not laughing. They are going to be in tears right now. And who can blame them when you're put up with a finalising goal like that? That was just absolute filth. And I was just sort of begging for the time to arise when we would see that individual brilliance that Team Secret are capable of, and it paid off at pivotal moments in that series. And reflecting back on the, well, awkwardly, it was exactly the same play for Era. It was a reset double touch against the backboard, and simply when that happens, you can do nothing but respect your opposition.
Well, there was respect. Will it be certainly a game where we'll be looking to maybe just go back in the history books in a few weeks' time and sort of that was a key pivotal moment. But Psycho, there is very little time left for us to maybe debate and debacle the whole thing, as Era has ran out. Secret has won. Crew will be waiting. We'll have two new casters. Of course, we'll see you after this short break.